Hi there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and today I'm going to make the little book card. Now, if you watch my video with all my swaps from on stage, this is one of the cards, and I think it was Karen. I'm sorry, I can't remember who. Someone asked me to make the book card here on the video, so I thought I'm going to try to make this little book card like this. Isn't that cute? And it looks just like a book. So I took, and then first thing before I go on, I apologize because, I need to get my corner rounder. I'll go get that in just a second. But I don't remember who swap this was, and I don't have the paperwork that says who it was from and stuff. So if this is your card, be sure and give a shout out in the comments so we can give you kudos for a really cute card. Now before I go on, let me grab my corner rounder because, it's right here. It was right with my stuff. It's not too far. Okay, here we go. So this is what my card ended up looking like. And I used the Floral Charms Designer Series paper. And I didn't bring it with me. I have a piece already cut the size I need. I can't even show you the paper, but it's really, really pretty Designer Series paper that I thought would look cute on the front of a book. So let's just jump in. Now I have my measurements right here. However, don't worry about it because they're trying to find her to take a screenshot. You can go to my gallery. As soon as I'm done with my video, I'll go to my gallery, becreativewithkathy.com. Oh, wait just a second. Hi, Glenda, and thank you. I think it's going to turn out really cute. But anyway, back to my gallery. All the measurements and the supplies that I use will be on there. But you have to give me a few minutes after I finish here on Facebook, and then I'll post it to YouTube, and then I'll get it on my gallery. It's just a link after link. So I'll tell you the measurements here, but like I said, if you want to go back, you can find them there. Okay, so you can see, or I hope you can see, we're using Blackberry Bliss, just a coordinating color of our cards, our Designer Series paper, which, did I say 100 times already how pretty I think it is? So the Blackberry Bliss is just a quarter sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then we're gonna cut our little book piece here. And this is 6.5 by 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 3 1/4, and I just folded that in half, so that's all ready. And since we're right here, let's go ahead and just put our Designer Series paper on there, and then I won't be looking for it later, because this is going to just layer nicely on the little front cover of our book. Oh, and I have it upside down, but oh no, I don't want it upside down. I was thinking we could turn it around, but we can't. So let's make sure I get that the right side up. Nice little border on there, and then we have a pretty cute little start to our book. Okay, so I'm going to take, and I'm going to round these corners real quick. We might as well get these pieces ready. Now I use a Memories More, I don't know whatever this is, but this is quite the corner rounder. Got to make sure I get the right side. And if I just take and round, oh, just two. Ah, Shazam. Hold on, I rounded the wrong corners. It's going to be one of them kinds of videos. Let me cut another piece of paper because I only wanted to round 2 sides of the corners, or 2 sides of the cardstock, and not 3. So again, I'm going to cut this at 5.5. This is a video where you do what I say and not what I do, so you can get yours right. That was not right. And then 4 1/4. So it's just a quarter sheet of cardstock. Now let's try the corner rounding again, because I only want to round these 2 corners so it looks like a book. Okay, we're going to put it in like this, and we're going to round those 2 little corners so we have the side. And then I'm going to go ahead, let's see, I think I'm going to wait to put those. So let's make this piece down here that looks like the book. Now, when this stamper made hers, she just put little score lines on there, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I have a little piece of beige, and that again coordinates with the Designer Series paper, and it is, where's my beige piece here? 4 1/4 by 7 7/8. And I'm going to lay it in my paper trimmer here, and I'm actually going to put the 7/8 inch at the top, and I'm going to put it like at 1/8, and I'm going to just randomly, whoop, it slammed shut on me there. I'm going to randomly just score it here and there. I'm going to kind of miss places. I'm going to kind of go sometimes in the middle, sometimes on the edge. I'll lift up a little bit and then score down here, so I've kind of skipped the center, and then I'll move it another 1/8 of an inch. This time I'm just going to go all the way across, then I'll move it another 1/8 of an inch, And then since I went in the center the time before, I'll go maybe on the end here, or almost to the middle, lift it up and then go down here. And like I said, I'm just kind of here and there randomly scoring so it looks kind of like the pages of a book. And then the last time is at 3/4, and that would give us another 1/8, and I'm going to just kind of randomly score it. So I don't know if you can see it, but it looks something like that, just so it has those marks on there. Okay, yeah, I was going to say I need my paper trimmer for something else, but now I can't remember what I need it for, so we'll bring that back later. Okay, so I have that, and then we need to round the corners again. See right here how she did on hers. So I'm going to just take 2 of the corners, make sure I'm on the 4th of my corner rounder here, and then I have, looks like this, right? So then we're going to lay that on there. Now it's a little bit longer, but don't worry, we'll just cut that down to size so it'll look perfect when we're done. Okay, now we need to put this little notch here to make it look like a book, right? So I'm going to turn it over first of all, although you know what, let me show you hers. Hers, she has the bumps up, or the score lines. Can you see that up? I want my score lines indented down. So I'm going to turn it over so the score lines are up, and I'm going to kind of use my glass mat here and position it so it's centered sort of, so I can just find the middle. And then I'm going to put a little tick mark so I know where the center of this is, like that. And then I'm going to use a 1-inch punch. Now I know we don't sell those anymore, but I find it hard to believe everybody doesn't have one. So you need something that's going to make that little notch in there. And since my paper is 7/8, I lied. This is 3/4 of an inch punch. But I'm going to set it in here, and I can kind of see now with that little tick mark where it's kind of in the center. We'll just take, what do you think, about like that? Maybe a little bit more. Let's take more like that out of that paper and see how we did. Yeah, not too bad. I don't think it really matters, so I'm not going to worry about it. But then I'm going to take this piece and put a itty bitty little border here at the bottom, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. So let's put some glue. Which way did I want mine? I want mine glue on this side. Is that right? I can't even see. I need to get, well, I don't even need new glasses. I need new eyes. So if somebody wants to donate some eyes, I could use a new pair of eyes. But let's just glue this down right here. We might have to chop a little bit more of that circle off, or that partial circle at the bottom. But we'll see how it looks. We'll just go from there. So that looks pretty good. Let's see if I need to move it around since I use that liquid glue. But that's going to fit up there, and that's going to be pretty good right there. Okay, now we need to notch this so that this matches the other notch. And I think I am going to go just a hair deeper and a little bit this way, because my notch wasn't all the way in the center. Maybe like that. Boop, and there we go. And then you see it's just a little bit too long, so I'm going to go ahead and take this and trim off so it coordinates or matches. There we go, my cardstock. And now we have the bottom of our card just like that. Look, that looks like a book right there. Shazam. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now that we have that piece on, we can put this piece on. And now we want this to match up with this corner up here all the way down. So I'm going to use liquid glue so I can kind of shimmy it around after I get it on there. Okay, let's see how I can do to get it up in this corner here. Yep, that looks pretty straight, just like that. I'll kind of hold it there for a second, make sure that it doesn't move on me, and it's lined up with the corner straight on this edge. And there we have our little book. And now, just now I remember what I need my paper trimmer for. So we want to put these little binding marks on here, right? So I'm going to use some gold foil paper, and now this is, I believe, 3/4 of an inch. Where did my measurements? Oh, they're on the back of here. Brr. So my measurements say 3/4 of an inch by 3/16, and that's why I didn't cut in advance, because I knew I was going to lose them. So we're going to cut them, and if it's not exactly 3/16, I think it's pretty close. But on your Stampin' Up trimmer, you got 3/16, 1, 2, they're itty bitty little marks. So you might just want to say, ah, that looks good, and you do it that size. But I'm going to try to get them all the exact same. 3 little pieces, whoop, 3/16. In fact, right now, I might even be looking at the centimeters instead of the, but I'm going to the same mark, and they're little skinny pieces. And let me make sure that we need 4 of them, right? Yep, we need 4. So we have them there. And I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of these, and I'm going to let them dry. Because they're so small, we need them more like stickers. So if I take that liquid glue, and look, I already lost one. Where'd he go? Well, Shazam. I knew that if I have stuff laying around, did he fall on the floor? Nope. Is he still on my paper trimmer? Nope. Oh well, never mind. We'll see if we can't cut one more here, because I already lost that one. And I knew if I tried to cut them in advance, I would never find them. Now we have 4. Now we have 4. Okay. So just a little bit of glue, and we're going to let that glue dry. And then there'll be, whoop, I'm not on the screen. They're close enough. Okay. There'll be like a little sticker, just a little tiny bit of glue. Well, that was a lot of glue. Little tiny bit of glue, or a lot of glue. We're going to let it dry so it's not going to ooze out. It's just going to stick to our card. And we can even reposition it if we don't get it straight. Okay, so let's work now on the front and the inside of our card with a little bit of stamping. So this is basic beige, and this is the same size as this piece, which I don't think I told you, and that's 4 1/4 by 3. So they're the same size. One's going to go on the front, and this one's going to go on the inside. Okay, now, in fact, I think I'm not going to stamp on the inside. I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to stamp. I have 2 options for my card, and I'm going to stamp on those. I'm also going to use, if you can see on this card, I use these pretty little vellum. I'm going to tell you what they're called because I can never remember. Fully or beautifully adorned ephemera pack. And they have all these little pieces on there. Hey, look, I found it. Figures, doggone little gold thing. Okay, but anyway, this ephemera pack has all these really pretty gold pieces that are really vellum and gold. And on this card, I use, let me see if I can find it here. This frame here. Now really this frame, if you look at it, here's one that I've already put some parts out. It has all these pieces, so it's not just a frame that has this flower or this leaf. The leaf punches out, this punches out, this is the frame that I used, this is another frame up here. So really it's just a bunch of little pieces. And I really thought that was pretty on this card. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I was digging through here, and I found, nope, not that piece. Not that piece. Oh, this is what I want to use on the inside. This little row of flowers. Can you see that? I think that'll look pretty on the inside. At first, I thought this piece would look pretty on the front, but then it was kind of the wrong way, trying to find words. It needed to go this way. That didn't work. And then this piece, no, there's this one. We're going to use this one. Either this, or we're going to use these layering, this layering here. And this is beige and Blackberry Bliss, cut from these dies, which I absolutely love, the beautiful celebrated dies. Now, I didn't even buy the stamp set. I just bought the dies because I love all of these. And I cut out the smallest one in beige, and then the next size in that Blackberry Bliss. So these are what we're going to stamp on, is what I'm trying to say. I'm probably going on and on about nothing. And I first want to show you what stamp sets I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this stamp set, these little banners, because we needed something really small on here. And I thought this says, "You're the sweetest," or something. Yeah, "You're the sweetest" would be cute on there. And then from a new stamp set that'll be available in May when May's catalog comes out, is this "Thinking of You." So we're going to stamp, first of all, the "Thinking of You" in Blackberry Bliss ink onto this from the die cuts. Let's see if I got it inked up pretty good. Try to get it somewhat straight. Maybe get my head in the camera, but there we go. I think this font is really pretty. And look how pretty that would look on the front of our card. Or we can use this little thing. And I think, no, because it's slick on here, I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to just go ahead and stamp "You're the Sweetest" right here. I'm going to bring it down a little bit so I can see it and try to make sure it's straight on my glass mat. And just stamp that right there. Let that ink really not sink in. It's going to be there, a good stamping on there. Now, because we stamped that on vellum, it's not going to dry. So I'm going to take my heat tool, which is stuck on my desk drawer. There we go. And I'm going to just dry that ink. Let me get my heat tool a little bit warm here. And then I'm going to just dry that ink. I'm moving my heat gun a little bit so it doesn't scorch the paper or the vellum. But this way we'll get it a little bit dry. And then the easiest way to test this is to take a scratch paper and turn it over and do something like this. And then if it doesn't smear on here, then it's not going to smear on here and it's nice and dry. Just like that. Also, if you're worried about stamping on your vellum on here, you could stamp on a scratch piece of vellum and then set it over your card and see if it's going to have the same effect. So if you're worried about stamping on your really pretty pieces that come in the ephemera pack, practice on a piece of scratch vellum and see how you like it and hold it over your project, and then you'll know for sure. That's what I did in this case, just to make sure I wasn't making a fool of myself. Okay, where are we at? So we're going to layer these. This is going to be easy, because if I just take a little bit of liquid glue here. And hi, Paula. Thanks for watching. I'm not very good at comments. Have I told you that? I'm terrible at watching to see who's comment, because when I'm making cards, I'm always looking down. But I'm going to try really hard tonight. And then you guys can let me know which one you like better for the front of our card. Is that even straight? Yeah, that looks pretty good. We'll go with that. Okay, now this one I have to be careful because I can only put adhesive behind where the gold is. So really I'm going to just take a little bit here and put a little dot in this corner, and this corner, this corner, and this corner, and maybe a dot here under the flower. So it's not, doesn't have very much on, if you can even see that. And then let's go ahead. Oh, that was not good. Set that there and let it dry. Whoops. While that's drying, let's go ahead and take our card here, and we will adhere these little strips to our book. So I'm going to just take and line it up with the side over here. This side, make sure they're straight this way, and then that way they should be straight. That looks pretty good. Hi Pat, how are you? And then I'm going to, there we go, the next one, and just give it a little bit of border and lay that on there. Well, maybe. Working with these little little foil pieces is not the easiest, and you sure don't want to get glue on the foil side because then you'll see it. But I think so far they might not be perfect, and this one's not cooperating, but so far I think they look okay. I think we'll go with something like that. Okay, let's put two more down here at the bottom. Come on, little piece. There we go. Maybe one right there. And then let's do another one right above it. That little glue off of there. Make sure this guy's straight. And then we have something that looks like this. And looky there. Whoops, that's going too close to the camera. There we go. And then we have our little sides of our book. Now that I'm looking at it, what if maybe we took this little flower strip and we put it on the binding of our book? All right, you'll have to let me know if you want the binding on the book over here, because what my plan was is to take it on the inside and just run it along here. Although I have two of them, I could run it along the binding and along the bottom. So you guys let me know. What should I do? Should I put it along the binding and the bottom on the inside? Should I leave them both off? Here, let me show you what this looks. I think this looks really good, just like that on the binding of the book. But you let me know what you think I should do. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to layer it just on a little piece of Blackberry Bliss. And I cut this, and I'll find the measurements because I don't have the measure for this. I just kind of guessed, but I think it looked pretty good. You can't see any of my adhesive through the vellum, so I did pretty good that way. Paula, you think the bottom on the inside, this way? Like that, right? That looks really cute. And then nothing right here. We'll just leave that blank. Okay, let's go ahead and put our inside into the inside of our card. And layer this in here. Now here's where I debated. Do I want to put happy birthday? Do I want to put what? And I think I'm going to hold off. Ooh, I got that really crooked. Think I can get that off and fix. Oh, yes, I can. Looky there. We don't want a crooked inside. Let me try to go from the top and see if I can do better that way. Oh, much better. Okay. Did I get it crooked again? I did. Hang on, let me fix that one. There we go. Now I think it's straight or straighter. Okay, then we're going to take our little, and maybe on both. Let's see if we get one more vote if we do just at the bottom or just on both. Now, because this has the vellum on the front, I'm just going to do it in the center of those little flowers, a little dot here. Here, not too much glue on there so we don't see it through our vellum piece. Like that. I'm not going to let that dry. This way I can get it, not let it dry, get it where I want it, like that. I think that's really pretty on the inside. Like that. Okay, now we have to decide, do we want to put, and look, I did smear it just a little bit. I'm going to let it go on here. Do we want it to look this greeting, you're the sweetest? Or maybe that's even too big. Do you guys think? Or do we want to put this thinking of you? Like that. In fact, I think I'm liking the thinking of you a little bit better, even though it's not even stamped straight. Okay, so we're going to do both. All right, that sounds good. We know about the greeting. Really, and since I smeared this one, I'm really leaning toward the thinking of you. And I could die cut another piece, or I could just go with I'm a little bit crooked. Okay, let's take a little bit of glue again on those little flowers in the inside, or on the, yeah, the inside of the flower. Like this here. That's pretty straight, right? What do you think? Look pretty good, huh? And then on the inside, we have the little flowers down there too. Yeah, I think that looks really pretty. Now, I do like, I'll be honest with you, I like the flowers on the inside. You don't see the vellum with that lighter cardstock compared to the vellum on the darker inside, but it's, or the darker cardstock, but it still has that really pretty gold that brings out the gold in these pieces. That's why I thought this would bring out the gold some even, or bring it out even more. Which one do we want? And then, so you know, we're also going to add some of these purple fine shimmer gems, and we're going to add those to the front too. So what do you think? That's a tough one, huh? All right, since this one is smeared, I'm going to just go with the thinking of you. And I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. I should have dried that a little more, and I'm really bummed that my paper test didn't do the trick, because I thought that was a sure thing, and this time it sure wasn't. Let's take this and lay this right here, just like that on the front of our book. I guess it doesn't look too crooked, huh? Okay, so you agree with me, Pat, that the thinking of you looks better on there too. It kind of has that pop and does look better. Let's get rid of that. Clean up our desk a little bit. We have this card and this card. We just add a little bit of bling to this card, and then we're all done. And I think that the darker embellishments are going to look better to match that Blackberry Bliss. So what I was thinking is I'm going to put one here. I have to remind you too that I am not a big bling girl. I think the little bling goes a long way. So what do you think of just the two right there? It looks like it's kind of holding it together. Yeah, maybe we take some of those lighter color blings, some of these really light purple ones, and we kind of splatter them around like this. And then we'll put one more up here, and then we're all blinged out. And now that I'm looking at it, I think, what if we changed our mind altogether and we found some gold bling to go on here? Do I have any gold embellishments? If we have those gold embellishments, I think my silver, my gold sequins are with my retired stuff and not here anymore. So let's see what we think if we like these gold gems better, because these kind of blend in. So I'm going to take these off. Maybe. Don't tear the paper, Kathy. There we go. Look, got them all off right there. I'm even going to take these two off because I think we want to go with something gold rather than something purple, since we don't have any gold on this part of it. So let's bring these here. And what are these, you ask me? No, you didn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. These are the adhesive-backed metallic gems. And take these ones. We're going to see which ones are gold. This row is gold. So what if we just take them randomly and kind of stick them like this? Is that one gold? Nope, they're gold. Phew, I thought I had bronze ones on there. And we got to go uneven. So how about if we do a couple down here? And then to tie it all in, we'll do one up here somewhere. Maybe here. Oh, let's go here. What do you think of that? That looks pretty. You can hardly see these two probably on camera, but boy, I can see them here in person. Alrighty, so I guess we're good. I think I'm happy with my card. I hope you like it too. Thanks for helping me with all my decisions. Like I said before, in case you missed it, I'll have my measurements on my gallery, becreativewithkathy.com, and give me a few minutes. I'm going to go post my video onto YouTube, and I'll get all those measurements onto, oh, wait, you're right. Thank you, Pat. I missed the book corners. They're in here. They're in this pack. Whew, that was the whole, I forgot all about my book corners. Let me find my book corners. They're in here somewhere. There's a sheet that has book corners. Do you guys see them? Where are they? Did I miss them? Here they are. Here's my little book corners. And I'll tell you now, there's a die set, and I wished I would have written it down which die set she used, because you can die cut. She die cut them in this gold, but I didn't have that die set. But there are definitely book corners right here. Thank you so much, Pat, for helping me. I totally missed that. I would have left my little book corners off, and tomorrow when I looked at my card, I'd be like, there's something missing, and that's what it would have been. Like that. Let's put those little book corners on there. And again, with a little bit of liquid glue behind the gold part. Let's see if I cannot lose them this time. You know what? I'm going to bring in my silicone mat just so I don't lose them. I can see them on here. There we go. This is going to make it all the better. Okay, take a little book corner right here. Slide that into place. Just a little bit of glue on this one. So much better. Then this one. And we're almost done. I kind of think this would be a really pretty Mother's Day card, and you could write something in there about how their story began with him or something like that, something to do like with the book kind of theme. I think that would be pretty too, or cute. They're a great idea too. There we go. Now we are done. Looky there, book corners and all. Makes a huge difference, doesn't it? All right, now I think we are all set. There again, thank you so much for all your help. And again, I'll go put those measurements on my gallery and the supply list. So if you want to make the card, it'll all be right there for you. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.